Thanks for joining Veiled Mystic today as we examine spirit communication. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this presentation. Understanding spirit communication. The ability to communicate with spirits and souls who have crossed over to the other side is one of the most profound and mystical psychic gifts. Those with a natural talent for spirit communication play a powerful role in bridging messages across the veil between the physical and spiritual realms. Who has the ability? While everyone has some degree of extrasensory capability, certain psychic mediums are better able to perceive and interpret communications from the departed. The most skilled mediums tend to have these traits. Heightened intuition mediums need to have finely tuned intuition and psychic receptivity to actually sense impressions, energies, and information coming from discarnate beings. A community of spirit guides assists talented mediums by gathering around and funneling symbolic messages from the beyond. This allows the medium to intuit names, dates, and causes of death. Mental pictures, signs, and symbols also flash clearly across their inner field of vision, unobstructed by physical eyesight. Spirits requesting help or suffering emotionally tend to appear clearer than souls calmly at rest. Images may emerge in negative or inverted colors if lower vibrational energies are present, requiring release before peaceful crossover. Emotional sensitivity. Since spiritual messages transmit via emotions, symbols, and metaphors, mediums must be finely attuned to subtle shifts in feelings and moods within themselves and from the inquiring sitter. By tuning in somatically to sadness, grief, confusion, or resentment, a sitter may unconsciously harbor impressions can flow freely from spirit to resonate vulnerably at that emotional frequency. Extreme sensory sensitivity allows data beyond logic to transmit intuitively. Non-judgment. Trusted mediums transmit what they receive without distorting the raw data with personal bias. They simply report images, names, phrases, or stories, detaching from the need to interpret, critique, or project desired outcomes. Remaining neutral conduits protects the honest flow from spirit to sitter. Compassion. Genuinely caring for the living and dead allows for open empathic exchange of consolation between both planes of existence. Mediums provide comfort to grieving souls desperate to know their departed are at peace. Even hard truths get conveyed gently by compassionate conduits who relay messages tailored sensitively to sitters' readiness without judgment. The gift awakens. Those born with mediumistic gifts may first notice paranormal incidents in childhood while their psychic senses remain unfiltered by rigid belief systems, seeing apparitions of deceased grandparents, hearing voices whisper at night, feeling taps or caresses from unseen hands. Adult mediums typically awaken more intentionally through paranormal encounters following the loss of loved ones, near-death experiences like trance-channeling, energy healing modalities like Reiki, out-of-body travel, psychedelic journeys, or simply research into metaphysical phenomena, sparking further interest. Often a traumatic loss, combined with mirroring that psychic suffering back with compassion for fellow grieving souls, helps switch on one's own mediumistic channel for the first time. First-hand acquaintance with death in this lifetime accelerates one's intuitive investigation into what might lie beyond. Ultimately, meditation, dream work, oracle consultation, or training programs fine-tune mediumistic mastery, where communication strengthens, deepens, and activates on demand rather than randomly. Let's look closer at how spirit messages transmit through gifted psychic conduits. Means of spirit communication. Spirits harness energy from mediums to interconnect realms. Using the medium's personal energy field as a channel, discarnate entities imprint packets of information. Mediums must passively observe these subtle impressions arising within their mind's eye, heart centers, or somatic senses and translate the data into verbal language. Clairvoyance. The most common route of spirit communication involves clairvoyant transfer, the psychic ability to see visual images that provide insight about people, events, situations happening remotely across time and space. Clairvoyant mediums perceive mental pictures, signs, and symbols relayed from the spirit realm. Names, dates, and causes of death also flash clearly across their inner field of vision, unobstructed by physical eyesight. Spirits requesting help or suffering emotionally tend to appear clearer than souls calmly at rest. Images may emerge in negative or inverted colors if lower vibrational energies are present, requiring release before peaceful crossover. Darkened or shadowy spirits may emit eerie colors from being tangled in the in-between dimensions until guided back into the light of wholeness. Clairaudience. Some mediums are more clairaudient, gifted with clear psychic hearing rather than seeing. Perceived as verbal messages received inside one's mind, requests for assistance, forgiveness, or fulfillment of vows sound through from loved ones passed on. The clairaudient register differs from thinking or imagination because the audio quality resonates external to one's natural voice. Communications transmit audibly as full sentences or just a few meaningful words conveying volumes. Deceased loved ones send highly personal messages telepathically that only their surviving relative would understand. Nicknames from childhood or references to private memories assure the sitter undeniably. Deceased pets even re-establish contact through barks, meows, and familiar sounds. Dream visitations often facilitate audio communication as conscious defenses relax more deeply in REM states. Clairsentient mediums feel impressions through amplified bodily sensations beyond physical touch, chills, tingles, tightness, releasing waves, or unexplained pains mirroring another's previous trauma. Gathering clues from these somatic cues allows for very specific discussions about circumstances around death, emotional residues, and experiences only the deceased endured privately for closure and reassurance. Healers additionally feel guided about exactly where to move stagnant energy from a client's aura and body for realignment. Lightworkers absorbing collective grief or environmental pain intuit which spaces need energetic cleansing in this somatic empathic manner. Mediumship styles. Mediums relay messages from the departed in myriad ways. The style depends on their personality strengths, culture, and type of energy channeling involved, whether invoking high vibration angelic beings or essential deceased loved ones. Mental mediums. Utilizing telepathy, mind-to-mind transfer, or channeling from spirit guides, mental mediums transmit thoughts, advice, and metaphysical teachings from spirits or enlightened beings verbally or through automatic writing. Since the data flows mentally without much emotion, the content obtained can be highly accurate and philosophical versus personally relative to a sitter's needs. Trance mediums. Acting as passive vehicles for spirits or guides to inhabit their body temporarily and communicate directly through them, trance mediums appear fully conscious but demonstrate mannerisms and vocal tones distinct from their normal personality. They often have little memory of trance session content afterwards. This receptive merging allows the deceased's essence energy to permeate the medium more wholly for a vividly accurate depiction. Physical mediums. Physical mediums gifted at manifesting visible paranormal phenomena confirming the existence of spirits. Physical mediums invoke tangible activity in seance settings like rapping sounds, instruments playing untouched, apparitions materializing to be photographed, or a medium's body levitating through telekinesis. By eliciting these demonstrative signs, physical mediums provide legitimizing proof to the skeptical that consciousness persists beyond bodily death. Intuitive mediums. Intuitive mediums most common today. Intuitive mediums perceive clairvoyant visions, patterns, and emotions relative to sitters' vibes and needs before channeling supportive messages accordingly from spirit guides or loved ones in spirit. They operate consciously, fully aware of communicative transactions, empathizing sensitively with clients for healing. Compassion and consciousness anchor their intuitive reading rather than theatrics to convince. How spirits transmit messages. Regardless of channeling style, all mediums must achieve calm and expanded consciousness to link interdimensional phone lines smoothly. Through meditation, creative flow states, or hypnotic trances, their brainwaves shift from hurried beta states associated with critical thinking to slower alpha and theta frequencies more conducive to extrasensory transmission. In this transcendent yet focused headspace, earthly mental static clears so communications develop as discernible. The veil between worlds lifts just enough for spirits to imprint packets of insight within the medium's energy body, which then bleed into conscious awareness for verbal translation. The medium allows these subtle impressions to accumulate until a clear storyline emerges. Mediums describe communications sent from souls in spirit as non-verbal feelings, flashes of old memories, vivid imagery, muffled words, names, or odd sensations that they simply report without judgment back to the recipient. Energetic transfers often feel cool, pulsating, flowing, or sparking until transmuted into human language. Symbols get translated verbally once enough pieces emerge to convey the intended meaning. Some compare spirit messages to discovering single strands of yarn before weaving them together to reveal the full tapestry. Skeptical sitters get convinced when pieced together threads ring true to their privately held emotional truths, suddenly spoken aloud by mediums without prior knowledge. The crossover process. To understand spirit communication, it helps to consider the transitional process discarnate souls undergo after physical death, before relaying back messages from their realm. Near-death experiencers and intuitive mediums collaboratively describe the basic stages: death and exit. Regardless of beliefs, all human souls transfer out of the physical body to unconsciously enter the spiritual planes upon definitive biological death, when the body can no longer be resuscitated. Traveling through a tunnel vortex of brilliant light, they feel profound peace, ecstasy, and unconditional love as their senses expand infinitely beyond bodily limitations. Life review in a panoramic instant outside linear time, spirits review the events of their entire human life from an observer perspective, noticing cause-effect chains with heightened sensitivity. By feeling the impacts made on others now second-hand from the receiving end, the soul awakens compassion for self and those once harmed through ignorance while alive. Judgment about deeds also arises from understanding core motivations more deeply. This revelation propels moral growth. Transition. Souls then move to transitional planes closely neighboring the Earth dimension to reacclimate as non-physical beings, shedding residual human traits that bind them nearer to matter like ego identification, anger, grief, or addictive desires. As density and gravity lift, they rediscover essence qualities like omniscience, playfulness, creativity, and cosmic unity consciousness. Recuperation. Next, spirits enter restful planes for recuperation tailored to individual needs, where some sleep continuously until healed of heavy density endured on Earth as empaths. Others commune with the departed through the veil, receive soul empowerment training, or design upcoming incarnations with guidance from elder councils. All access previously hidden soul memories and higher wisdom about the nature of existence itself. Crossover launch. After sufficient lessons get integrated from the most recent incarnation, spirits transcend to their soul group level, no longer needing transitional planes. From this merged state of omnipresent unity without forms, some reincarnate by choice and calling to evolve, teach and serve humanity on Earth once more through cyclic embodiment. Others may volunteer as spirit guides, masters, or angels while remaining unbodied yet influential over Earth's affairs, supporting spiritual seekers until all lost fragments of the divine fully awaken again through cycles of transformation in matter. Regardless of soul missions between lives on Earth or in formless spirit planes, discarnates assist incarnated loved ones struggling through grief after their human passing. By sending comforting messages through mediums as required, burdens get eased for those emotionally ready to hear them. Mediums reveal that consciousness endures beyond bodily death, delivering transformative healing to bereaved individuals longing for closure and continuity of soul bonds. Addressing skepticism. Despite widespread historical and modern evidence supporting life after death and mediumship abilities even under laboratory trial scrutiny, skepticism persists in mainstream science, often denying the existence of souls or spirits based on lack of tangible proof. Without direct perceptual experience receiving accurate evidential messages from deceased loved ones through a gifted psychic medium, doubters question the validity of trance channels claiming to transmit anything but imaginative thoughts or strategic deception. The onus lies not with mediums to convince anyone against their beliefs, but curiosity may organically draw genuine scrutiny from even the staunchest critics. As quantum physics increasingly reveals reality's holographic nature beyond observable limits, and atheists encounter persuasive posthumous messages personally, expanded consideration ripens regarding consciousness surviving bodily death. An investigative approach emphasizing first-hand observation and theoretical consistency upholds the scientific method more than rigid empiricism denying or explaining away inconvenient data. Each individual must ultimately filter reality through their own evidential experience versus mainstream lockstep belief. But surely Conan Doyle and Pascal would agree remaining at least open to new discoveries seems reasonable given history's progressive disproving and updating of old incomplete theories in light of unfoldment. Finding an ethical medium. For skeptics and supporters alike wishing to consult a reputable medium, caution helps avoid disappointment or exploitation given charlatans masquerading among authentic spirit channels for profit. Trust only respected mediums who offer highly specific evidential information unknown to them, demonstrating true spirit insight. Lack showmanship or extreme theatrics to prove abilities. Convey consistent messages across sessions without pandering. Uplift consciousness, conveying philosophical depth, sound guidance. Display ethics, conveying difficult messages gently. Admit limitations, declining requests clearly beyond expertise. While fees vary based on professional profiles, genuine mediums exude compassion, integrity, and wisdom, delivering consoling closure secondary to aiding spiritual evolution itself. Responsible usage also avoids complications, for example, obsession with only connecting with deceased loved ones instead of focusing fully on life priorities like family or work. Consulting mediums should supplement, not substitute, one's spiritual relationship directly with guide/source. Overall, navigating questions around death, dying, and beyond need not rely heavily on intermediaries. Innate intuition offers inner wisdom following respectful alignment practices to access eternal truth within. But for sharing mutually comforting news across dimensions, spiritual mediums can indeed deliver indispensable healing, as their rare empathic conduit reminds a lonely world no soul ever dies or suffers alone.